What if calming your nervous system was never something you had to figure out, but something Allah already designed for you? In a world that feels overwhelming and overstimulating, Islam might be doing far more for your nervous system than you realize. Practices prescribed over 1400 years ago may be exactly what the modern nervous system needs, something science is only now beginning to confirm. So let's start with Salah. Salah is not just prayer, it's a full nervous system ritual repeated 5 times a day. Think about it, it already starts with wudu. Throughout the day, we're often stuck in a sympathetic loop, but wudu interrupts that pattern. The cool water on your hands, face, and feet, it acts like a brief and gentle cold exposure. It draws your attention out of your head and to your body. Then in prayer, your body moves through the same sequence every time. Standing, bowing, sujood. This rhythmic repetition tells the nervous system, I am safe. Sujood in particular is incredibly grounding. Forehead on the ground, the body lowering itself in complete surrender. Some studies have found an increase in alpha wave activity during sujood. Alpha waves are associated with a deeply relaxed but alert mental state. Many people cry in sujood, not because they are weak, but because the body finally feels safe enough to release. Letting out your emotions is an essential part of nervous system regulation, and prayer gives you a safe place to do this. Then, when you add prayer times to this, you create a natural and predictable circadian rhythm for the nervous system. This stabilizes cortisol rhythm, creates predictability, and reduces chaos. Salah reminds the body and mind when to slow down. Another powerful nervous system regulator is Qur'an recitation and Dhikr. Slowed recitation, elongated vowels, controlled breathing, all of this stimulates the vagus nerve, the main nerve responsible for calming the nervous system. This directly slows the heart rate and quiets racing thoughts. Also, contemplation on the meaning gives comfort. When you read Surah Yusuf, for example, you're reminded of the care and mercy of Allah. Your attention is redirected to hope and gratitude instead of fear and threat. Dhikr works in a similar way. Repetition is a safety signal, and when that repetition carries meaning, it doesn't just calm the mind, it reassures the body. It makes you think about who Allah is, how He is in control and caring for you. This calms fear circuits, overthinking, and catastrophic thoughts. This is also where shukr fits in. From a nervous system perspective, fear scans for threat, but gratitude scans for sufficiency. Dhikr and shukr train the nervous system to see safety and trust. This doesn't mean that your hardship is denied. You're just being reminded that safety already exists right now. And that's exactly what Allah tells us in the Qur'an. Inna ma'al usri yusra. For sure, during hardship, there is ease. When talking about letting go and trusting, we immediately also think about tawakkul. A lot of chronic stress comes from one belief. If I don't stay alert, everything will fall apart. That's hypervigilance and over-responsibility. Tawakkul frees you from this internal pressure by reminding you that you are not alone, that you don't have to control everything, that you can trust on Allah. And when the body no longer feels like it has to control everything, the stress response softens. Islam also has a body-based way of regulating the nervous system, namely Hijama. I dedicated a separate video on this topic, so make sure to check it out. Islam also never asked us to regulate alone. Jumu'ah prayer, shared rituals, fasting together, breaking fast together. Humans regulate better together, and Islam understands this deeply. Unwanted and prolonged isolation often opens the door to overthinking and anxiety. By creating a community, Islam counters this. Being surrounded by people moving, praying, and remembering together creates belonging. And this in itself is a safety signal. One of the most underrated aspects of nervous system regulation is not what you add, but what you remove. As I explained in my previous video, overstimulation is keeping us from experiencing stillness, calmness, and peace. Islam naturally reduces stimulation by adding pauses in the day for prayer, by reminding us that the evening has arrived and it's time to wind down, by adding moments of reflection. During Ramadan especially, you can feel this very well. More time opens up as we have to spend less time cooking and eating, and we fill in that open time with mindful practices. Entertainment especially gets tossed to the side in that month. Therefore, there is less noise, less distraction, and less excess. This is what our nervous systems need. A constantly overstimulated nervous system cannot fully rest. So Islam creates space, and space is calming. I do want to say something important here, especially for reverts or anyone with a sensitive nervous system. If some of these practices have ever felt overwhelming to you, if prayer feels like pressure instead of peace, and not broken, and your iman is not weak. A nervous system that's already overwhelmed can even experience good things as stressful when they're paired with fear, urgency, or self judgment. Islam was never meant to be carried by force. Regulation happens when worship is approached with gentleness, mercy, and realism, not perfection. So if you're in a season where you can't do everything, start where you are. One prayer, one moment of dhikr, one act of surrender. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or constantly on edge, maybe it's not because you're failing. Maybe your nervous system is simply asking to return to a framework that Allah already built for you. If this video resonated with you, feel free to share your thoughts below. May Allah grant us all calm hearts and regulated bodies. And I'll see you next time on Holistic Cup.